Robin was terrified. The matron in charge of the orphanage was after him again. Not that he'd done what he was accused of. At least, he didn't think so, though the periodic blackouts he suffered made it hard to account for every minute of the day. Meanwhile, his response to the imminent danger of punishment was to hide in his mind until the danger passed. As the strident voice of the matron yelled for him, he retreated into the blackness within his own head. Meanwhile, his body shuddered and began to change, adjusting to a more feminine appearance as the second personality started to surface and take control. #Robin #. Robin looked around, arranging her long, messy hair into a ponytail, never noticing how the color had lightened to a golden shade. Nor did she notice her eyes changing from green to blue. Her face subtly shifted, as if unseen hands were molding it. The matron stormed right past her, seemingly oblivious that the one she was looking for had been standing in full view. No sign remained of Robin's previous physical traits. The mechanism controlling the change ensured that only one gender appeared at a time, the other completely withdrawn, depending on the personality and control. 8 years earlier, 2 white-clad scientists, a husband and wife team, were working on developing a new type of soldier, one that could blend into the background and not be seen. Their premise was that by combining the characteristics of chameleon DNA with human DNA, they could give a soldier the ability to alter their body and appearance to suit any situation. Unfortunately, things got out of hand when an explosion from an unrelated experiment next door destroyed their lab and injured the wife. Some of the experimental DNA, irradiated with cobalt just minutes before, entered her bloodstream through the injuries she received. The DNA coursed through her body and found its way to the unborn child she was carrying. With the baby due almost any time, she remained in the hospital in critical condition. A week later, when the baby was born, she succumbed to the additional stress of childbirth and died shortly after. The husband, distraught at having lost both his life's work and his wife, took out his frustrations on the only thing left, his child. Though the baby was adequately nourished, it suffered mental and emotional torment as the man screamed his frustrations at it. He named him Robin. Yes, Robin was a boy, though the mutant DNA inside him was working to change that. What no one suspected was that the DNA had absorbed the female imprint of the mother and was slowly converting some of Robin's DNA to female. Ultimately, this made him an intersex person, possessing both male and female physical traits. When the father grew tired of his responsibility, the boy was sent to an orphanage. The daily tirades had left their mark, causing Robin to retreat to a place in his mind, where the shouting became like a distant echo. In this state, he noticed a second, softer voice that soothed him to sleep as he hid from his father. Chapter 2. The Orphanage Experience. #Robin #. Robin knew more about what was going on than Robin did. She knew that Robin was sleeping in her head and often sang soothing songs to him when she was the dominant personality. She was older mentally than Robin by at least 3 years, making her 11. This was due to the traumatic way she came into existence. This age difference was reflected in her form becoming older-looking than Robin's, as it tuned itself to reflect the age of her mind. She often wondered why Robin existed in her female body or why her periods of awareness were mostly limited to times of stress for her sleeping brother. She never realized that when she took over, her personality determined her sex, with Robin's male traits retreating inside, leaving her looking completely normal. Her body's changes were subtle, but she could feel the slight swelling of her chest. It was easy to remain hidden from the matron in the maze-like orphanage. Funnily enough, some of Robin's memories bled through to her, helping her function without making mistakes. She knew the names of the other children, for instance, and had an instinctual understanding of who they were. Her continuity of life was fragmented, with moments of semi-awareness of Robin's life, whereas Robin never remembered the times when she was in control. She scuttled away to her favorite hideout, a window behind an alcove that looked down on the street leading to the city. There, she dreamed of the time when someone would drive up and take her away from this drab, agonizing existence. She suspected that some of the kids knew about the way she and Robin coexisted in the same body. At least one or two had spoken to her about it, and they seemed to think it was interesting and had promised never to reveal it to the staff or even talk to Robin when he was in control. Her reverie was interrupted by the harsh clang of the dinner gong, and she sighed, knowing Robin was about to head down for the evening meal. She felt him stir within her and closed her eyes as he took control of her body. She didn't resist, knowing it was futile, and so she withdrew to her special place where she could dream of wondrous things. #Robin #. Robin found himself in the alcove again, wondering why it always seemed to be the place he ended up when he came back to himself. He scratched his groin, adjusting himself as his growing discomfort in his underwear became a familiar feeling. He ignored it as he scrambled downstairs, knowing it was dinner time. He thought he heard the bell even while in his hidden retreat. Matron, fortunately, had other things on her mind at the time, and Robin, being somewhat small for his age, could blend into the crowd at the dining table. Food was eaten quickly, like a group of hungry people squabbling over a morsel. It was rarely filling, as the portions were rather small. Robin had never known what it was like to feel full. Food was something to fill the void, rather than something to enjoy. Not that the food looked particularly appetizing, it was just something you ate before someone else tried sneaking part of it. Dessert was unheard of, and it was water, milk, or tea for drinking. Exercise consisted of running around the high-walled grass area behind the orphanage building. Schooling was done within the orphanage, as one of the staff members was a qualified teacher. Robin liked her as she often brought in treats for those who did well in their lessons. Not that Robin ever got the chance to sample the forbidden, by matron, luxuries. It wasn't that he was a bad learner or particularly naughty, he just got bored easily, drifting off into a half-stupor. The teacher was constantly admonishing him to pay attention, even though he could have repeated the lesson word for word. His memory absorbed the lesson like a sponge, which led to boredom. Looking longingly at the carefully meted-out treats, he wished it could have been him that was the recipient. He'd even thought of kissing one of the girls who had been the lucky one, just to see if he could taste the treat on her lips. For 5 years, his life had been limited to the grounds of the property with no real mental stimulation other than class. Television had been banned after the only set had been accidentally broken during a fight over channels. Robin could vaguely remember seeing cartoons when he was first brought here. Unfortunately, it was broken and removed when he was 3.5 years old. Strangers rarely visited, and when they did, it was often a harrowing experience. When a prospective parent was looking for a child, the orphans were lined up in rows, while they were inspected like soldiers. He'd nearly been chosen once, until the people had been told he was a boy. He had wondered if he had looked girlish with the way his hair was tied back in a ponytail. His hair was long, but unlike most boys, he kept it neat and tidy, and so was never taken to get it cut as regularly as the others were. He'd even wished at that time that he had been a girl just to get picked and taken away from this place. Chapter 3. Things get complicated. Then, disaster struck. Infectious mononucleosis, or glandular fever. It struck like a lightning bolt, sweeping through the orphanage like wildfire. Its causes were undetermined, although it was suspected it had been brought in by one of the staff members. In such an enclosed environment, nearly everyone was infected, Robin included. Unfortunately, as if things weren't already bad enough, Robin developed encephalitis as a complication. This meant he was feverish, headachy, and had swollen lymph glands from the glandular fever until the onset of brain inflammation caused by the encephalitis. His condition went unnoticed until the overworked staff saw him go into convulsions. They called for an ambulance, and he was rushed to the nearest hospital. Robin felt terrible, hot, swollen, and in pain. He wanted to escape, and he did what he always did, hide. Safe in his favorite place, he played with his imaginary toys. #Robin #. Robin woke, feeling pain and disorientation. She quickly realized she was seriously ill and in Robin's bed. She could see the others in bed too. Some were moaning, and the staff were rushing around with wet cloths and helping others to drink glasses of water. She felt a little angry with Robin for leaving her to deal with this mess, but then realized this could be a blessing in disguise. Usually her time out was limited from a few minutes to half an hour, but if this illness lasted, she could be out for days, or dare she think it, even weeks. She didn't get much of a chance to enjoy her time out, if enjoy was the right term. This was not exactly what she would call fun, being sick and all. Her brain was even now being attacked. The membranes covering the brain were being irritated, and other neurological damage was taking place. Her thoughts got fuzzy as she started convulsing, and mercifully, she finally lapsed into unconsciousness as the staff finally noticed her fevered motions and decided to call for an ambulance. The staff, feeling harried, never noticed the child was supposed to be male, and the ambulance crew never questioned it either. Later, at the hospital. #Robin/Robin#. Voices trickled down through the delirium of unconsciousness to Robin, and even Robin could hear the muted conversation. One of the things that seemed confusing to Robin was hearing him being referred to in the feminine. He knew they were talking about him, unless there was another Robin nearby, but the pronouns were she and her, as they discussed his situation. Robin, on the other hand, was paralyzed. At least that's what it felt like. She could feel her body being examined by the doctors, but was unable to respond. It was as if she was in limbo, a passenger in her own body. She felt the doctors prodding her chest and checking her physical state as she lay there feeling scared. She could hear things clearly, but in her disconnected state, they didn't impact her mind. Robin just let it wash over her as she felt herself slip into a semi-coma. Are you sure this is the one named Robin on her birth certificate? It has her marked as M. Surely someone forgot the F in front of it? It's a pity this is all the records she has, one of the voices asked. Well, obviously she's female. I wonder where she was born and where her records are. I'm surprised her physical development is ahead of the expected age. I would guess she's at least 3 or 4 years older than what is on her birth certificate, another voice answered. You know how these orphanages are. Their records are poor at the best of times. If we get on the paperwork now, we can have the amended birth certificate ready for when she goes back. I think, for clarity, I'll change the spelling of her name as well. The second voice said. The main thing is to get her better. Encephalitis is serious on its own, without the added complications of glandular fever. That's a good idea. Robin with a Y? Do you think there could be any brain damage or paralysis from the attack? These things are never certain, only time will tell. For the next few days, it will be touch and go, and her recovery could take weeks. It's all in the constitution of the individual. Just do a routine blood workup. She looks underweight, so check platelets and electrolytes levels. Oh! Make sure we get a blood type too. It's not in her records. Anything else? No, we haven't time for all that. Just rush that through. Died and gone to heaven. #Robin #. Robin was confused. Surely they must be mistaken, if indeed they were talking about him. Sensations unfamiliar coursed through his body as the examination was completed. He wasn't expecting the feeling he received from his chest area. It felt swollen, as if something had grown there. He thought it might have been the side effects of the fever. His body felt odd, but he wasn't ready to face the world yet, knowing that he was still ill. Oddly, he missed the comforting voice that used to lull him to sleep. It had stopped a short time ago, as if moving away and getting fainter. Sleep slowly claimed him, and he curled into a mental ball, allowing the approach of peaceful oblivion. A week later, doctors, fussing with the intravenous drip that was infusing the small child with life-sustaining fluids and nutrients, caused the awakening of the only personality capable of rational thought. Robin became aware of strange sensations. There seemed to be tubes attached to him. He could feel something in his arm as well. He opened his eyes and moved slightly, alerting the doctors nearby. "Hello, Robin. I'm Dr. DJ Pickle, but you can call me Dawn or DJ. How do you feel? Can you move your toes?" The doctor, leaning close, asked. I feel strange," Robin groaned, managing to wriggle his toes. "That's very good," the doctor responded, observing the movement of her toes. "We do have some tubes in you. I expect that's what feels odd. Don't worry, as soon as you're able to walk, those will come out and then you'll be able to go to the bathroom normally," the doctor explained patiently. "Okay, but my voice seems different and my body feels swollen," Robin added, trying to look at his feet. He could see the sheets rise up in the chest area, and he used his free hand to touch the changes gingerly. "I have this," he exclaimed in shock. "Well, young lady, it's time to face facts. You're growing. Sometimes things develop faster than expected. It's nothing to be concerned about." The doctor tried reassuringly, not seeing the growing concern in Robin's eyes. But, I'm a boy," Robin protested. "I don't want this." The doctor looked at Robin for a moment, pondering the possibility of a mental disorder. His face cleared as a possible explanation came to mind. "Honey, it's okay. We know you were told you were a boy, but there was a serious mix-up when you were born. The record of your birth saying you were a boy is incorrect. That's been corrected, and now it shows you were born a girl," he whispered, thinking about how the orphanage staff might have missed this, not paying close enough attention. But he didn't let his thoughts show to Robin. Robin was stunned. He was a girl? No way. But as he explored further under the sheets, his hand couldn't find his previous body. He started to sob, feeling betrayed by his own body. He didn't see the doctor move to insert a hypodermic needle into the foreline, sending a sedative into Robin. In minutes, Robin was asleep, and a nurse came to gently wipe the tears from her face. Next morning, Robin woke, feeling better. The four was gone, just a small bandage remaining over the spot. The tubes were gone as well, allowing him to turn over in bed. The strange feeling in his body wasn't as noticeable, though the changes in his chest sent odd feelings through him as he moved. He couldn't decide if it was a nice feeling or just strange. His stomach rumbled, and he wondered if they would feed him today. As if sensing he was awake, an orderly entered, wheeling a trolley with several covered plates. Robin's eyes widened as the covers were whisked off, revealing the contents. The expected cereal was absent, courtesy of the doctor's orders that she be fed a special breakfast usually reserved for high medical care patients. Robin's mouth watered at the sight of toast with jam, a plate with a poached egg on another slice of toast, 2 rashers of bacon, and a sausage with a grilled tomato on top. One thing caught his eye, the tall glass of orange drink. Was it juice made from real oranges? He wondered, recalling the rare times when the children were given real fruit. Eating a quarter slice of orange had seemed like a treat. "Is that all mine?" Robin asked, hopefully. "Yes, honey." "Here, let me help you sit up," the orderly said, setting some pillows behind Robin's back. Robin was so focused on the food that he hardly noticed what he was wearing until he was fully sitting up. The pink nightie with the lace around the bodice gave him a moment's pause before hunger overtook any further protest. As soon as the food was transferred to the table beside the bed, he tore into it, surprising the orderly with his haste to eat. "Hey, slow down, kid. You'll get indigestion eating like that." "Nobody's going to take it away from you," the orderly reassured, seeing the possessive way she hunched over the food. "Boy, judging by the way she tore into it, I'd guess she's never had a decent meal in her life," the sympathetic orderly thought, making a mental note to inform the doctor. Robin finished everything and lay back, feeling full for the first time in his life. The drink was real orange juice, which he savored slowly, trying to burn the taste into his memory. He plucked at the nightie, bemused by its softness. It felt nice against his skin, and he wished he could take it with him when he returned to the orphanage. Thoughts about his new gender status hadn't quite sunk in yet, nor the reaction to it when he returned. Suddenly, he felt the urge to pee. He looked around, seeking the nearest bathroom. Sliding out of bed, he blushed as the nightie brushed against his body. He staggered drunkenly on unsteady legs, weakened by his long stay in bed. Finding a doorway leading to a bathroom, Robin stumbled to the toilet and stood uncertainly before it, lifting the nightie. Realization dawned on him. He really was a girl now, as he failed to find his previous self. As the pressure built, Robin turned and sat, hoping that somehow, wherever it was supposed to come out, it would be in the right place. It wouldn't come out until he relaxed. Looking down, he could see it coming from the new arrangement. Feeling the wetness when it finished, he dabbed some paper on it, unsure if he was doing it correctly. He washed his hands in the basin before looking at himself in the mirror. Robin could see the changes in her face. It was definitely female. The longer lashes, the larger doe-like eyes above a cute, slightly upturned nose. The lips were fuller, and the skin was so much finer than before. The hair was now blonde, silky, and much finer as he ran his hands through it. Robin, or rather, she, looked much older than 9, and he remembered the 2 doctors mentioning the discrepancy.